This is the 6th IWS that I have had the pleasure of being the chairman of the steering committee for. This is also my last, but more about that in a moment. I want to tell you a little bit about what we've got in store for you today. As I say, this is our annual Investigators Workshop, and what a wonderful Investigators Workshop it would have been. You all have heard the news. You're watching the news just like I am and trying to figure out what's going to happen. We will have some new news shortly after I finish speaking. Dr. Bill Pulaski, the director of the Human Research Program, will tell us the actual, absolute latest news about the situation that we are in. I am confident that despite the workings of those at higher levels, this will still be a valuable and important and memorable, it's already memorable, Investigators Workshop, even if some of us are no longer participating officially. The IWS this year is one of our largest. It has, we have 1,046 pre-registered attendees as of dark 30 this morning, and I have not included the number of you that have waited at the registration line outside here. That line is now almost down to zero. Of those registrants, 224 were civil servants. That's 200 out of 1,000, so about 20%. So if you should notice a dearth of civil servants a little bit later in the morning, there will still be 800 of you to carry on, and I count on you doing that. There were 298 contractors, 112 non-JSC civil servants, and we have participation from many of our international colleagues, especially the ISS, International Space Station Partnership. At our count, we had 9 people from the German Space Agency, 6 from French, 5 from the European, and 3 from JAXA. And we also have 250 advanced registrations for the banquet on Wednesday evening. I understand the banquet is sold out, but there may come available a few tickets along the way. The program, the program that we've outlined for you today has 35 oral presentations, not including this one, and 141 presenters will be making those 35 presentations, so you can do the math in your head. There will be 3 poster sessions with 279 posters total. There will be 12 plenary presentations, and there was to have been 1 banquet speaker. Things are not looking good for our banquet speaker, who was to have traveled from England across the pond to get here in time. I hope springs eternal, but that may be all that we can hope for. There are several aspects of this week's workshop that I want to give you a little bit of heads up on. Number one is, as I've said already, we are living in a dynamic environment. The situation is fluid. Certainly the workshop that we planned for the last 11 months is no longer the plan. Certainly the workshop that we were talking about doing as a result of the shutdown, the government shutdown last week, is probably also not the plan. So all of you who are here, especially those of you that remain here, if others of us are asked to depart, will be in charge of this workshop this year. So here's a chance for us to exercise collectively innovation, to make it what we need it to be, to communicate with each other, to respond to the challenge that has been given us this week by those in power above us. And speaking of challenge, all of you in your registration packet should have received this little yellow piece of paper describing an activity we are doing this week at this workshop to work on challenges that we may have individually in our research. I guess you can also work on your personal challenges if you want, but this is primarily intended to be your individual challenges. Let me say a little bit about that now. During this conference, there will be a lot of emphasis on sharing your challenges with your colleagues, your peers, your collaborators. We're asking every speaker and every poster presenter and every participant to actively share their challenges. As I say, you've received a little tip sheet already in your handout packet that describes our approach. We want to communicate these challenges at a level that sparks conversation. So this is a good conversation starter. You could stand forlornly in the coffee lobby here saying, "Oh, I have such a challenge, if only somebody would help me solve it." and I'm sure others will gather around to help you do that. We're not necessarily talking about the big challenges, although they're not bad. We're talking about whatever is holding you back and stopping the progress of your research. Sharing your challenges will make it much easier for you to connect with other attendees. Sharing your challenges will make you connectable. When you meet someone at this conference, you might want to start the conversation by asking them what is difficult in their project, what parts are hard to solve, and what are their main challenges. We are so committed to this approach to challenge resolution that we have set aside a portion of the grand ballroom upstairs where we normally have this plenary as what is now called the Innovation Pavilion. That is mission control for our challenge discussions this week. It'll be easy to find challenges and people and propose suggestions or even solutions to those challenges. Communicating your challenges will lead to new connections, new collaborations, and new solutions. I strongly encourage you to start the discussion of all of your topics this week, or at least include in that discussion the exchange of challenges. This is about breaking frames. This is about getting through the so-called valley of death between the immature idea and the implementation. So the approach will be to write down at your presentation, if you're a poster presentation or if you're giving a panel or a podium presentation, write down and include in your presentation 3 challenges that you have in your research, in your work. Post them on your poster, mention them at your podium presentation. Interact with other people and their challenges, suggest and post solutions either at the poster or in the Innovation Pavilion upstairs. Connect and discuss those challenges, and remember that we are all here to help each other, and we and the HRP and the Trish are especially here to help you resolve your challenges. We are asking senior investigators to be kind to your junior colleagues and help them with their challenges, because you may have answers to questions that they're having. And, if possible, be here on Wednesday when Hank Mouvier will talk about an organized approach to challenges, which our colleagues in KBR Wiley have explored over almost the last year or so during the luncheon seminar presentation, the luncheon plenary presentation. Hank Mouvier will provide greater insights into this challenge resolution approach. So remember, communicating your challenges leads to new connections, new collaborations, and new solutions. Unfortunately, it's not going to lead to more money. Understand that there are synergy grants being initiated, I think, by Trish, by the TRI. HRP is not putting money behind innovation grants or anything like that. Synergy grants, I guess I should call them. But I think it's still a good idea to work on challenges that face you today. And, as I mentioned before, this is my 6th workshop as your chairman, as your MC. Because of my service as the steering committee chairman, this is also my last. I will be retiring from NASA exactly 1 month from today, if the government shutdown allows, and I will be still a perpetual participant in your activities, and I'll be hopefully an attendee in future workshops. In fact, if there's another government shutdown, maybe I can be the one that sticks around after everybody else has to leave. But I would like at this point to hand over to our new chair for the workshop, also my successor as the Chief Scientist of the Human Research Program, Dr. Jennifer Fogarty, please. Oh, good, she gets applause. That's nice. I can tell my time is up. Dr. Fogarty is the Chief Scientist of the Human Research Program and has been since November. This is our intention was to make a nice transition here at the workshop. Actually, we were going to do it at the closing ceremony of the workshop, but it seems more appropriate to do it now because Dr. Fogarty, already on the job here, has new insights and new information to give you about how we will implement this workshop. But before we do, I would like to make the handover official, and that is by presenting the long cherished and valued totem of the Chief Scientist. It is the same totem that Dr. Schellhammer handed me when I became the Chief Scientist a few years ago. It's a little squeeze astronaut. You can see it here. And it's got autographs from prior Chief Scientists, including Dr. Kundrat, Dr. Schellhammer, and myself. Dr. Fogarty, I'm presenting this to you to make you the official Chief Scientist of the Human Research Program. Let's get a picture.